There are growing calls to challenge President Biden's latest border policy. It halts asylum seekers once daily encounters meet 2,500 a day until attempted border crossings are curbed to below 1,500 a day. Various immigrants' rights groups, along with the ACLU, say they plan to take the policy to court. So we're joined now to talk more about this by Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes.
And Khalif, could we see a court blocking this executive order?
They can try. I mean, it's absolutely happened in the past. Anytime you have executive order, first you have to recognize that the president has this power. The federal government has power with immigration as a whole, but the executive office has the power to do these types of things. In what capacity and have they went too far is normally what the court will say. But does he have the power? He does. But this is really not about the people. This is about politics. Let's be clear. President Biden is recognizing that the Republican Party is using the immigration, people coming into the country, the allegations of committing crimes, bringing drugs, all those things are out there. And so what do you do if you are running for the highest office in the land? You make sure you put a policy out there that stops people from asylum seeking, because we don't have the funds as a country to send people back consistently. And so trying to figure out a way to maneuver that, to get those numbers to be record low, pre-pandemic type of low, it's a lofty goal, and that's why you'll see the challenges, because those are not realistic numbers.
Well, what do we have for precedent here? Because we saw similar challenges when former President Donald Trump had his own.
I think you can look at Trump, you can look at the things that Biden tried to do in 2023. Either one of those are great examples of the precedent that the court will look at. And some things were able to stay in place. I mean, typically, if the person poses some type of danger that places a danger to our country, then the president is allowed to. Think about when 9/11 happened and then when COVID happened. President Trump immediately said people from these individual countries cannot come here for these specific reasons. And the courts found some of their didn't have the rationale behind it. But Biden, when he did it most recently in 2023, the court said, okay, you do have support to be able to do a number of those things. So it's really a mixed bag. But what I can tell you is the challenges will continue to come, because if you think about what asylum seekers are saying, they're saying, in my country, I am struggling. I'm running and fearing from death, from persecution. And the only safety that I have if I'm coming in as an asylum seeker is to come into your country to run from whatever dangers are back there. And so the idea of sending a person back into danger, no country wants to do that. But there has to be a checks and balance system put in place, specifically if the person has come to America through, say, Mexico, but they came from 5 other countries. You don't want that. And there's already processes in place. The problem is there's not enough funding to support the things that are in place to make sure they can happen effectively.
And that's the distinction here between this executive action between Biden and Trump was the asylum seekers, is that there is granted the protections there if you are seeking asylum. But also this is Biden's executive order is a response to the Republicans not passing the immigration reform, the comprehensive.
When you don't have folks that can compromise, and you don't have folks that want to sit down on the table and try to come to some type of comprehensive bipartisan support with border issues, if you're not tying it to funding to going somewhere else, and you can say, you know what, we can really just attack this funding issue that we have on the southern border. The problem is no one can come to the table. As they're attempting to attack their own party leader, they're deciding that, you know what, we can push this into November. And it may have backfired, because Biden is now saying, you know what, I'll take the reins from you.
Well, all right. And so as you mentioned, these legal challenges will continue to come. So we'll see how that plays out. Clay, thanks.